Oh boy, the holidays sure were fun, but it's nice to be back home. I wonder what happened on the internet while I was gone.
We just, every year, we try to raise as much money as possible, and then we go work with, Alzheimer's Association of America, University of San Francisco, Association of FTD,
for hours, so we getting ready to party across the board. What would make a person want to do this?
I can't leave y'all alone for 5 minutes. Anyways, David Dobrik, you know that guy? Well, not only is he getting sued by his ex-friend because he swung him around on a crane like he was trying to demolish a building with his body, but now he has angered the insurance company State Farm. I'll run you through what happened. So a while back, David Dobrik took a break from YouTube for reasons I am not prepared to get into right now, but he was planning on making a smashing comeback. There is a YouTuber who goes by Devin Supertramp, and he's known for doing a lot of stunt work on his channel, and so David decided his comeback to YouTube would involve a lot of similar stuff. So he sends 3 of the Vlog Squad members, well, we're counting Natalie, who's technically his assistant. He sends the gang off to get their skydiving license to film this stunt. But in the middle of getting their license, David calls them up like this is Charlie's Angels or something. And he says, okay, now you need to head off to Utah where I am to film another stunt. Side note, Natalie makes a comment that the main reason that she's getting her skydiving lessons for David, which requires you to jump out of a plane like 25 times with a coach teaching you how to do stuff, and requires you to pass a written test and a test where you actually jump out of a plane. She goes, yeah, I'm doing this because David said I could have a week off of work to do this. Is it really a week off if you have to do all of this? It sounds like you're training for a new job at this point. Anyways, we ship off to the coordinates David left us. It's in a lake, and in the middle of the water, there's an excavator. Bob the Builder trucked out Scoop's little brother to help film this video. And the video idea was, you're gonna get in about a foot deep of water, you're gonna get on either water skis or an inner tube, and we're gonna tie you to the excavator's giant claw and spin you around on it. You know the hammer throw in the Olympics? It's basically that, except you're the hammer today. Oh, and by the way, the guy driving the excavator for all of this, David Dobrik himself, who in Jeff's own words, is the biggest idiot he knows. Right now, I will say, when it comes to the inner tubes and the water skis, everything was fine. Nobody got hurt. It's about like the end of the shoot is when things, got Dobrik, shall we say. So David looks at everything and he goes, this is cool, but it's not cool enough, It's missing that je ne sais quoi. It's missing that juicy thumbnail shot. He says, let's ditch the skis, let's ditch the tubes, and just have you swing around on the string at the end of this excavator's claw like you're Georgia the Jungle. One about as well as Georgia the Jungle, by the way. So it was Jeff's turn to get on this thing. So David's spinning around, Jeff is blowing in the wind. But as Jeff is swinging, David starts spinning too fast, so Jeff is flying pretty high. But then, David stops way too soon. And because David stops so soon, Jeff slams into the arm of the excavator, falls off into only a foot deep of water, by the way. This is not exactly a Tempur-Pedic he lands on. He still hit ground. And these 2 impacts landed Jeff in the hospital. Now, I've been cracking jokes up until now, but this was bad. I cannot put pictures of this stuff in the video. Jeff posted some pictures himself, and you can find those. You'll see why. Like, this screwed up his eyesight. This damaged his brain. I'm so happy he got, like, a good doctor to help him through this. Now, you might be asking yourself where State Farm fits into all of this. So, because of this injury, Jeff sued David for quite a lot of money. I think David said he was gonna pay for some of Jeff's surgeries, if not all of them, but that never actually happened. At least that's what Jeff said. David said Jeff deliberately told David to not pay for anything. There's conflicting narratives.
The hospital bills, which is one of his gripes, and his credit is messed up, is what he told me. But you guys are saying that you have tried to pay the hospital bills, right? But his assistant hasn't reached back out.
Well, let me get into that.
Okay.
I think the hospital bills.
This is tough. I'm not trying to speak for Jeff, but I think it's fair that someone does.
No. Definitely speaking for Jeff because he's not here. I don't love the fact that he's going around saying I don't pay for surgeries. Like, that fucking hurts. Like, I want to help him. Sure. I really, truly do. Yeah. And, like, he still has my word. Like, I told him that I pay for surgeries. He can still. And the reason we haven't been paying for a surgery, I don't know if it's his assistant's fault or Jeff just told him to back off from us, but, like, I don't handle that stuff more. I just give approval to spend that, whatever. Right. But, like, Natalie has asked multiple times, like, loop us into all these surgeries, and we're just not getting looped into anything. Mm-hmm. And then we're blindsided when he goes to another surgery, and then he'll, like, come out and be like his most recent surgery, I didn't know that he had a surgery until you don't follow me on Instagram. And that's because, it's a two-way street. We can be like, when's your next surgery? But also, no one's looping us into what we need to be paying for. And to this day, like, I'm still keeping my word. Like, I want him to send me whatever he needs me to pay for. Like, I will pay for it. But it's just not fair to say that we haven't been paying for it because
I've paid literally every single bill that has ever been sent.
Yeah, every bill and well, as long as he needs it.
So did he end up paying for all your hospital bills? That's going to be fun when we get to that in trial.
Because Natalie said yes, they did, and he said yes, they did, and you were like, no,
I can't wait
my
to
credit
expose
sucks.
Natalie's lies. She's next level, like crazy. That's something I want to avoid because it's a big part of the case.
Yeah, she's scary.
But yeah, the truth will come out.
But as the lawyers were duking it out, David tried to get State Farm to pay for everything because he was insured by them. But the problem is, David only had homeowner's insurance and umbrella insurance through them. And I'm pretty sure neither of those cover slamming your friend into heavy machinery for YouTube views. So State Farm got their lawyers suited up and filed a declaratory relief statement, which basically said we shouldn't have to pay for this, David's plan didn't cover this, and Jeff should be covered by workers' comp anyways. Now this was all broken by the H3 podcast crew, but I will say, the H3 crew claimed that State Farm already paid a little bit of money, but Spillsesh looked into the complaint by State Farm and she didn't find anything that said State Farm paid money already. It's a contradiction that I don't think affects anything, but in case it affects something eventually, I put it in the vid. Anyways, you remember how State Farm said Jeff should get workers' comp? Well, that's actually an interesting point of contention, because Jeff apparently never really classified anybody in the vlog squad as an employee except for like his assistants. Like Natalie was an employee, but Jeff, Jason, DJ and David didn't consider them as such. But, you know, if David considers them an employee and if the court considers them employees, those can differ. Because I feel there is a very strong argument to make that they were, in essence, employees. So hey, if anybody else tries to get their workers' comp from the Brook of Doe, I'll tell y'all about it. Which, by the way, is required by law in Cali where these dudes live. Oh, and we even have a vid of Jeff talking to paparazzi, which I know, paparazzi need to be publicly executed. I'm right there with you, but bear with me on this one. One of them asked, hey, how's the lawsuit going? And Jeff says,
He's just running from the courts, trying to just make up a bunch of lies and try to use money to force me out, the smaller guy. But we're fighting it. I got the power of the people supporting behind me.
I mean, hey, I'm not there. I don't have the context that they do, and if I'm wrong, I'll make a correction, but I believe it. Anyways, that's where State Farm comes into play. Now I just want to talk about a bunch of the other stuff surrounding the vlog squad, because it just makes all of this so much worse. So do you remember Natalie, David's assistant that we talked about earlier? This lady has some interesting lore behind her. So sometime after Jeff got blasted by old Iron Arm Dobrik over here, Natalie comes out and says the only reason Jeff got on that thing was because Jeff had a crush on her and he wanted to impress her.
Didn't you say that you got on the crane because you had a crush on her and you wanted to impress her?
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me that. That's right. Yeah, she said that in the documentary.
Now I just want to say, I don't know if Jeff actually does have a crush on Natalie or did at one point. Could be true, could be false. Even if it's true, what do you have to announce that to the world? Like, the guy landed in a hospital bed with brain and eye damage because his friend wanted to film a sick YouTube video. Has he not suffered enough? Like, we all make mistakes in the heat of passion, Natalie. We have to kick him while he's down. And again, that's if this is even true in the first place. This is very easy to lie about. I'm gonna show you a few messages that show you just how cold-hearted Natalie can be. Well, okay, allegedly cold-hearted. Listen, John Swan typed up an entire Google Doc full of lies about very serious stuff, by the way. And remember that e-girl group chat that leaked a while back? One of the first things that the members suggested was photoshopping screenshots to make it look like one of the ex-members was a racist. I feel like I can't trust anybody or anything anymore. I feel like I can't even trust myself anymore. I made french fries earlier and I'm starting to wonder if like my subconscious poisoned those fries and I'm gonna die in like a week. Alright, some context for these messages. Jeff and I believe it was Casey Neistat were filming a documentary on what happened with Jeff's accident. And during the production of this documentary, a bunch of Vlog Squad members thought, you know, it might reflect badly on David if this documentary talks about that thing David did. So let's take it upon ourselves to make sure that this documentary portrays David in the most positive light possible. In fact, let's have David himself watch the episodes and edit them before they go live. So these are messages between Natalie and somebody who's actually editing the documentary. Nat has the gray messages here. Hi, just saw Jeff's tweet. Don't want to bother him, but how'd the edit turn out? Good, we cut out the screenshots and changed some verbiage. He's in bad shape today though. And Natalie responds, okay, cool. Did you guys add the teaser stuff for the positive note at the end? I guess we're just gonna completely gloss over that second message. Dude, if I read a message that says he's in bad shape today, I'm just assuming like he's in ICU or something. Like there's not even a hope he gets better. This is unbelievably callous. Like now I'm imagining Natalie in other serious situations. Hey Nat, I got you some perfume because they were having a sale today. Oh, by the way, all of your friends are being held at gunpoint in an apparent hostage situation. Oh, that's bussin', man. And apparently Trisha Paytas has stories about Vlog Squad members repeatedly trying to gaslight her into thinking that she did stuff that she definitely didn't. She said they would tell her that she would like trap Jason in his house for hours, or that she like, crashed a car into it.
They also made up a bunch of stories about me that I found out later on weren't true, but they were told to me, like, this happened, you did this, oh, you were high, you didn't know. So in my head, I'm like, well, I'll take responsibility for it, like, I don't want this out there.
Gaslighting. I didn't even know what gaslighting means. She had to teach me.
I didn't either.
She was like, you were being gaslighted. This person's gaslighting you. And I'm like, oh.
There was so many instances where like, you did this, so own up to it before we like go to the police. But I'm like, okay, if I really did this, there would be a police report. There would be news reports about this. You know what I mean? Like crashing into someone's house. I'm like, that would be all over the news.
And there'd be a hole in the house. Right?
Thank you. So I mean, I don't know. That was out of my mind, so I don't know like back then, but I'm like pretty sure that like didn't happen, you know?
Now listen, I know, it's Trisha Paytas. We're not exactly batting 1,000 when it comes to truthfulness here, but considering all the other stuff that David and the squad got up to, I am kind of inclined to believe that they would do something like this. You know, I'm starting to remember that Psych IRL video that got popular a few years ago, and it drew parallels between how David uses the Vlog Squad and how a cult operates. I never actually watched that video, so I assumed it was hyperbole, but I guess it wasn't. Oh, and here's just a little anecdote from Jeff that I found funny. I wanted to put in this vid.
I saw David in Vegas like 6 months ago or like 4 months ago. Just got pissed off seeing him around at parties. You know, like after hearing what the courts are saying, like they just try to dismiss you, just call you back crazy. So I was like, yo, if you're gonna be out here doing that, you can't do that. Like pick one or the other. It's either gonna stay in hiding and make those lies and accusations, or don't come out to parties that you know I'm at. Like I was clearly there, and now we're crossing paths.
It was like an influencer event or what? How did?
Yeah, it was like a Vegas, like just, you know, I was there with Mike and a bunch of people. So I pull him aside. Let's just have a talk. You know, like it's probably not, you're not supposed to do that, but I don't give a got nothing to hide. So he was like, I know why you're talking about you, or why you're talking about me. You want me to respond? And I was like, I'm talking about myself, and I'm living with you, narcissist. You think I'm talking about you to get a response? Yeah, respond.
Said that?
Respond.
Yeah. That's what they.
They think they're higher, like above people, because you can't talk about shit.
I was like literally.
You're just not talking about because you got to hide. You know you'll get caught up in a lie. That's why you're not talking.
You know, after trying to put myself in Jeff's shoes, after brain damage, after eye damage, after ceaseless hospital visits, a bunch of surgeries, and even with me initiating this confrontation after David tells that to me, I feel like an illegal action would be committed that night. I don't know what it would be, but something illegal would happen. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. Let me know if there are any other wild Vlog Squad details that you find funny.